Welcome to the Splash City Basketball Podcast. I am your host, Steve Hartman, and today's episode is my live reaction post-national championship game I recorded last evening, Monday, April 6th, after Michigan wins the title 69-63 over UConn. We have a Minnesotan winning the men's college basketball championship in Will Cheddar from Stewartville, Minnesota. And we have a women's national champion from Minnesota and Gianna Neepkins from Duluth Marshall. So congratulations to them. Get a little Minnesota flavor in the national title game for both the men and the women. I spent about 25 minutes post game last night just kind of talking about how Michigan did it, what kind of champion they are, how good UConn still is, despite losing, and how they got there. So take a listen today. Also, please give us a follow. Follow on Facebook and Instagram and Blue Sky. Subscribe on YouTube. Leave a review. Leave some comments if you have thoughts on the content. And then also, of course, wherever you get your podcasts, please subscribe and leave a review there as well. Helps me out trying to continue to improve the podcast as we go. Lastly, just want to say this is a heck of a college basketball season. I said it a little bit last night. You'll hear it later in this episode, but just a really fun season, fun to follow from the start to finish. Michigan dominates the Players Era Festival. You see a lot of big time matchups early in the year, which we don't always get in sports, especially college sports, but we're seeing more of that now. And my only hope is that we get more mid-major matchups with high majors, the St. Louis's and VCU's, and this year it was Miami, but can we get more of those games against the Michigans and UConns and Floridas and Dukes and stuff? So should be a nice way to wrap up the year. The Big Ten gets their first title since 2000. Michigan gets their first title since 1989, and the Glenn Rice, Ramil Robinson squad. Just all around, I thought, a fitting end to the season. You had, one of the teams that was probably the best team all year, Michigan, against a team who has been the best program for the last, 27 years since 99, really. And it was great coaching matchup. I thought UConn and Dan Hurley did everything they had to do. And they just don't have they didn't have the shooting or the pieces this year, I didn't think, to win it. They almost proved me wrong, but they get runner up in a season where they didn't win the Big East regular season or tournament title. And they shocked the world, beating Duke, and Braylon Mullen's shot will go down as one of the all-time greatest NCAA tournament shots of all time. But let's talk about the game. Let's talk about how Michigan wins the national title. And with that, let's get into it. All right, we have a national champion. Michigan wins their first title since 1989, defeating UConn tonight in a really, not a well-played game, but they get it done, showing the versatility and the ability of Michigan to win in so many different ways. Really impressive game tonight for the Wolverines. UConn showed up, man. Like, Danny Hurley can get his team to play so hard. They execute so well. They just continue to fight and battle and scrap. And, credit to them. Like, again, I'm not the biggest Dan Hurley fan as far as personality, but you have to respect and appreciate, if you're a basketball fan, their ability to, win however they need to. 2 years ago, they were by far they were the Michigan 2 years ago. They were big, they were talented, Stephon Castle, Donovan Clingan, and they just kind of manhandled people. Now this year they weren't quite that talented. They were good. Um, but, against Duke, found a way. Illinois found a way. And tonight, they were close. 6 points. 6 points away. So I just wanted to kind of do a little bit of a live stream here just as quick reaction to the game. We still haven't seen one shining moment, so I'm trying to keep that on the back burner here as well. But couple takeaways. I said pregame UConn needed solo ball, Alex Caravan, and Braylon Mullins to play really well tonight to make some threes. And looking at the final numbers for the 3-point shooting, I mean, neither team shot well, of course. But Mullins was 4 for 17, Caravan was 5 for 14, and solo ball was 4 for 10. They combined for 39 points. The point total is not bad, but percentage-wise, just not efficient enough. UConn finishes 9 for 33, which was significantly better than Michigan's 2 for 15. But I will give credit here. At halftime, I said Michigan needs to stop shooting threes and get the ball inside. And they didn't shoot as many threes in the second half. The big sequence of the game was UConn gets the steal. They were Michigan was trying to get the ball to Aday Mara, the high post. McKenney turns it over. I think it was McKenney. UConn has a break 2-on-1, and McKenney forces a tough shot. Michigan rebounds, goes the other way, kind of a little bit of a scramble. Maize Johnson kind of fumbles a tough catch, gets it to Gale in the corner. Gale drives the paint, kicks to McKenney, shot fake, one dribble, hits a 3. 5-point swing right there, and that was huge. It could have been a 4-point game, and instead it turned into a 9-point game, I think. So just a huge swing there. And that I feel like, you weren't really comfortable if you're a UConn fan, or sorry, a Michigan fan, until probably that last foul where McKenney's shooting free throws. And how about him? Just stepping to the free throw line, making free throw, like not even touching rim, just ripping the cords. End of a game, freshman, national championship game. Like, that was clutch. McKenney played, again, didn't shoot it great. I questioned a lot of his shot selection in this game, but he hit that nice little step back shot at the top of the key, just inside the 3-point line, and then he hits that 3 at the end. So, and makes 2 free throws. Really nice game from him. Thought he was huge. Defensively, Michigan just can do so much when you don't have to help in the paint. And they solo defended Terrace Reed all night. And, when you can do that, UConn just didn't have enough around him to punish Michigan for that. So, you can't teach size. There's not much you can do. Aday Mara is 7'3", and again, Terrace Reed's a great player, but Michigan was willing to guard him one-on-one, and I think that was the right choice. I mean, Terrace Reed 4 for 12, and he doesn't take a shot outside of 12 feet. So that just shows you that Michigan's length and size was the recipe. It's the difference in the game. Like, UConn's not able to get easy shots. They're not able to get anything at the rim. So that was the biggest thing defensively. So it wasn't pretty. I mean, both teams combined to shoot really, hold on. I got to pull the stats up here. Michigan was 2 for 15 from 3. They got rebounded by 7, including giving up 20 offensive rebounds, and they won the game. I think if you were if you were Dusty May and you said, "Hey, we're gonna shoot 38% from the field and 13% from 3, and you're gonna win the game," I think you'd have been shocked. No doubt about it. That's a gutty performance, but they made up for it at the free throw line, 25 for 28. Again, I'm sure there's gonna be some disagreements on the whistle tonight, but I think Michigan's physicality and size, strength caused UConn to foul, which, credit Michigan. They made the free throws. So it's it's funny though, going back to the beginning of the year, I think about like those games out at the Players Era tournament when Michigan was just throttling people early in the year. And I feel like this was the way with Baylor when they won their title, UConn when they won their 2 titles. You're kind of like early in the year, like how much does that really mean in terms of who's the best team? But at the end of the day, those teams are really good and they're really good at the end of the year too. And so Michigan looked like the best team in November, and here they are cutting down the nets as the best team during the season. Duke beat this team. Arizona looked like one of the best teams, but Michigan's top to bottom, full, they didn't pass the ball. I mean, they didn't get a ton of assists. The semifinals, I thought, were all about the teams that moved the ball. When you looked at the assist numbers, Michigan and UConn just completely blew Arizona and Illinois out of the water in terms of assists to field goals made. But in this game, Michigan had to win a different way, and they did it. They used their size. Their interior defense was huge. Their switching, I thought, was pretty good. They had a few moments where they gave up some pretty good looks where you're a little nervous about it, but I'm probably burying the lead a little bit here. Michigan wins the Big Ten's first national title since 2000. So wasn't, according to KenPom, the best league in the country all year, but top end, right? You got Michigan, you had Illinois in the Final Four. You'd have the Final Four teams were Big Ten teams. Half the Elite Eight teams were Big Ten. Half the Sweet 16. Michigan State, Purdue. You had a really good top end of the Big Ten. And at the beginning of the year, we did a Big Ten preview show, and I said, if not this year, when? Because the Big Ten is loaded. And they get it done. So I think the Big Ten Conference breathes a sigh of relief. That football, they've won the last 3 national titles. They get the Big Ten, or the Big Ten gets a basketball national title this year. Is that a product of 18 teams, coast to coast, all the money, all the Big Ten network money, all that, the new contracts? Or is it just one of those things where there are swings, right? Like last year it was the SEC, this year it's the Big Ten. But as someone who resides in Big Ten country, it's nice to feel that title coming back to the Big Ten. A couple other things, the Danny Hurley's appeal at the end kind of had to do it, right? Like if you win that, you get the ball. Maybe you get free throws, so you have a chance, but kind of a desperation move there. Roddy Gale had some huge plays, and a lot of times these big games, Johnson, Lendeborg, and Mara, Mara didn't even have that good of a game. I do think they should have gotten to him more in the second half. He was 4 for 7. But Cadeau played really well. Namari Burnett didn't make a three. Um, so, you know, I, it's crazy, but like Michigan didn't even play very well, I would say, in this game. They played okay. They played hard. But UConn was able to kind of play it at their pace, and Michigan showed that they can win however you want. You want to play fast, you want to play slow, you want to, you know, shoot a lot of threes, you want to, run around, run tons of screens, run off stuff. Um, and they were able to do it. So kind of culminates, I would say, and I'll probably talk more about this later, but just a really overall fun college basketball season. I know, and I've talked about this in other episodes. There is a lot of things that need to be fixed about college basketball, but when you combine the part of the better play is the older players. So the NCAA was like, hey, we're gonna NIL, you're gonna pay players, are gonna stay longer. So they're gonna be older. And what ends up happening is you have some really old veteran, almost, I mean, at this point, professional teams, right? Like they're paid, they're um 22, 23, fifth year, sixth year guys, and you get some outstanding basketball. Bottom line, the basketball is pretty good at the high end. And then combine that with an extremely talented freshman class, including AJ DeBanza, Darren Peterson, Darius Acuff Jr., Cameron Boozer, Kingston Flemings, Keaton Wagler, and I mean the list goes on and on. It just, to me, this was a really fun college basketball season to watch and enjoy from start to finish. There was more ranked versus ranked opponents early in the year. The conference season was good. Um, I felt like a three-team race all year between Duke and Arizona and Michigan. Florida entered the race late. UConn, despite not winning the Big East regular season or tournament title, they're in the mix. Third national title game in 4 years. You kind of have your new like quasi dynasty that is polarizing with Danny Hurley. But Alex Caravan, 3 title games in 4 years, 2 national titles. What a career for him. One of my favorite college players to watch in the last 5 years, to be honest. Terrace Reed, I remember watching him at Michigan and thinking like, I don't know, he's fine. He's kind of a big body, and then these guys just develop and they get better. And then you see them, maybe it's frustrating to see them at a different school, but it's still, as a fan, to watch players continue to improve their game. He became one of the best players in the entire tournament this year. Um, and same with Michigan, like a lot of transfers: Cadeau, Burnett, Lendeborg, Mara, Perez Johnson. All these guys transferred in. Um, and as much as that, like, yeah, you got a big budget at Michigan, you can afford these types of things, but you still got to get them to play together. You still got to get them to, um, you know, find cohesiveness. Obviously, it doesn't work for everybody. You look at teams like Kentucky. Um, it didn't work well for them this year. Um, there's lots of examples of that, but you know, I really enjoyed the season. Really enjoyed talking about the season. I'll probably do a recap here at some point, um, and we'll talk more off-season, transfer portal, all that good stuff. Tomorrow the transfer portal opens officially, and teams will start signing guys. So it'll be wild. But for now, it's all about Michigan. It's all about their season. Really, really impressive season for Michigan and Dusty May, and by all accounts, just he seems to be just a really well-mannered coach. And you styles, whatever, like the yelling, the theatrics. Danny Hurley's trying to get the crowd in it. That might be your cup of tea. Dusty Maize might be your cup of tea because he's pretty calm, pretty reserved on the sideline. I'm just talking about how he took Florida Atlantic to a Final Four. He has now taken Michigan to the national championship, and he does it with, you know, different types. Like, he obviously likes big guys, but his you can tell he does a lot of the work before the game starts. And that's one thing I remember hearing about coaching was so much of coaching, 90% of it is done before the game starts. You make your adjustments, you do your halftime adjustments, maybe at the end of the game, substitutions and things you do to impact the game if it's close. But 90% of that you have to have, and you have to have done that before. You have to have practiced that. It has to be second nature. You have to have prepared your team. And it just seems to me like the way he responds on the sideline indicates to me that he feels his team is prepared. His team has what they need to win a close game, to win a track meet, to grind it out, to get rebounds, to get stops, to, make free throws. And it's really impressive. Great team. I'm sometimes in college basketball specifically where it's a one game, one and done. You don't always get the best team that throughout the year. But I think in this season, Michigan is a truly deserving champion of college basketball. So hope you enjoyed following it with me. Well, like I said, we'll do a recap. We'll do some transfer stuff in the coming days, and we'll break it all down. But just as this game wraps up, and I'm still waiting for the one shiny moment. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can hang on. It's a school night. It's a work night. It's 10:55 Central. We're grinding through it, but that Braylon Mullins shot against Duke will go down in history. Couple upsets, but a lot of good games. Final Four wasn't a great game. Championship game wasn't a well-played game, at least not a shot game. Shot making was left a lot to be desired, but it was close. It was compelling. You have Danny Hurley and the UConn dynasty. You have the Big Ten seeking their first title. You have Lendeborg, who's playing on like half a leg, and Elliott Cadeau kind of cast off from UNC. Similar numbers this year to what he had in North Carolina, but people just viewed this season differently, obviously because of Michigan's success. And Cadeau is named Most Outstanding Player, and he definitely controls the game. For young point guards out there, people aspiring to be a point guard, controlling the game is your number one job, and it could mean scoring, could mean facilitating, could mean pressuring the ball, it can mean drawing fouls, and Cadeau did all of that tonight. So he's well earned. Obviously, if UConn won, it was going to be probably Terrace Reed for the numbers he was putting up. Another double tonight, but yeah, it was just when the second half started, I kind of thought Michigan was going to run away with it. They got to that point where it was all right. Floodgates are starting to open. Cadeau finally hits that three, and you feel like, all right, can UConn answer? And they do. And they kept it close. I mean, I don't know what you'd expect other than that from UConn at this point and Danny Hurley. Um, that'll be an interesting team. You got Terrace Reed, you got Caravan gone. Sola Ball's a junior. Mullins is a freshman. You got some pieces there. And Danny Hurley's getting interviewed right now. So we'll see what he has to say. talks about fouls is immediately kind of what I expected. Yeah, make more shots. I mean, both teams still, to be honest, like nobody shot well. Michigan didn't shoot great. Yeah, yeah. I mean, UConn just they battle, man. Like they killed them on the glass. One thing about Michigan, and we were talking about this, you know, when Michigan switches so much, you get these big guys trying to block out these small guys at the 3-point line, and what happens is Braylon Mullins gets a putback, Caravan's getting rebounds, you know, Ross is getting in there and mixing it up, and Malachi Smith is getting in there and mixing it up. So the switching will take away that initial action, but you still got to block guys out and go get the rebound, and that could have been a big swing, and I kind of kept waiting for that big kick out off the rebound to a 3 for UConn. And to Michigan's credit, they either covered it up or maybe luckily got UConn to miss. But um, yep. So UConn coach Danny Hurley just gave his interview. Some of you might be ahead of me here, but yeah, that play there where they're showing it again on TV where UConn got the steal and McKenney, made that kind of a not block, but he got in the way enough, and then he hustles down and gets that kick out 3. I mean, that was then pushed the lead to 9 with 1:50. Just stones from a freshman. Finished with 9 points. Huge tonight. Huge. So there was a lot of moments like that where it's like things just can switch so fast in basketball because you're on one end, you get the 2, it's down to 4, the other go the other way in, or go to the other end and it's 9. I mean, it's just huge. So wild stuff. Great season. Congrats to Michigan. All right, that's the show for today. Again, thank you all for listening. It's been a heck of a college basketball season. I've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed listening to me talk about it. And we'll have plenty more to come in the weeks ahead. We got lots of Timberwolves talk. We'll be really focused on the Wolves for the next hopefully couple months if they can make a little playoff push here. They got to get healthy. They got to get right. They have a road game against the Pacers this evening. They're kind of locked into that 6th spot, but right now it's looking like the Lakers losing Luka and Austin Reeves could fall out of the 3rd spot, and they actually have. So the Nuggets are now on 3rd. So that if the playoffs ended today, the Timberwolves would be at the Nuggets in the 1st round. So interesting matchup there, a little history there. Lot of storylines going to be fun to talk about. So stick with me, stick with the program here over the next few months, few weeks, and we'll have plenty of Wolves talk coming ahead. Thanks again. This has been the Splash City Basketball Podcast.
Back in that bag again.